7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Great news. I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Call your local State Farm agent Vinny Krekak at 402-474-1173.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow Mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
We're bringing heaven to Lincoln with a waffle unlike anything you've ever experienced. Heavenly Waffles combines an incredibly fluffy recipe packed with protein and a medley of angelic toppings. To elevate the experience beyond your typical waffle and syrup, take the opportunity to try out this divine creation and pair it with a coffee from the mill as we celebrate Heavenly Waffles Wednesday from 8 to 11 a.m. at the 93.7 The Ticket Studio.
Stop by the 93.7 The Ticket Studios at 1040 O Street this Wednesday, December 13th, to try some Heavenly Waffles. Parking available on 11th Street and in nearby garages.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
December is here, which means your stress levels are probably high as you try to wrap up year-end work tasks, attend holiday gatherings, and find the perfect holiday gift for everyone in your family. Good news! The Body Shop can relieve your stress with a massage for you and a gift card for a massage for your shopping purposes. Book an appointment for yourself or get a gift card for the holidays today at thebodyshoplincoln.com, located at 48th and A. Constructors Inc., a Nebco company, is now hiring heavy equipment mechanics to maintain fleet equipment and vehicle operations. Constructors offers mechanics a competitive salary, 4-day work weeks with overtime options, a $5,000 hiring bonus, a tool allowance, and great benefits. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. Apply today for their mechanic positions. Visit constructorslincoln.com.
This is Sunday Rewind.
Take it back now, y'all.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now, here are your hosts, Tom Stevens and Mike Melby.
was going to say, I'm not hearing you.
Me?
There we are.
Okay. I didn't know what he had mic 4 up, so I assumed I was on mic 4.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good.
Take 2. Tom Stevens, Mike Melby, Husker Rewind every Sunday, 5 to 7. We do this show, and lots on the show tonight. Mostly Husker volleyball to start this hour for sure. John Baylor will be on the show in about 20 minutes as Nebraska punched their ticket to the Final Four in 4 sets over Arkansas. It was not easy. Number 9 Arkansas, a small, quick team that Nebraska took a long time to adjust to last night in front of more than 8,700 at the Devaney Center, and it was wild. I was in the suite. I got to stay in the suite. I was invited by my wife, whose company has one, and but I couldn't sit there. I had to go out in the hall. Actually, as soon as the first set, because it looked like Arkansas up 21-16 was going to win that first set. That was a tough match. Nebraska did not play well at times. At times they really did. But it did take a while to adjust, and Arkansas is a really good team. That's one of the best serve and passing teams that they'll see all year. Maybe that they have seen all year. A good win for Nebraska, but you could tell the pressure was on, that they wanted to perform for the home crowd at the Devaney Center. And they did when they had to.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the thing. When we get into the opening kickoff, I alluded to this with I believe it was Tom Chattel on the Husker Extra Hour last hour. As I was going through typing out kind of my script that I'll go through, I'm puzzled by my lack of ability to come up with anything new to say about anybody and everybody on that team and the team as a whole. And I hearkened back to the very first movie that MTV Studios ever made, which was Varsity Blues. And the end of the movie, Paul Walker's talking about, Billy Bob, Billy Bob's crying because, he's a crier.
He cries.
Tweeter's drinking beer because, that's
Tweeter
what he does.
Drinks beer.
Tweeter drinks beer. And so, that's going to
I watched that the other night.
It's such a good movie.
Johnny Moxon. Right?
Yep, Johnny Moxon.
Yeah, that's a good movie. That's a really good movie. I don't know if it would be in my top 5. It'd be in my top 10 football movies of all time.
From a football movie standpoint, it's definitely a top 10.
Yeah, it's a top 10. You mentioned it. Let's get to the opening kickoff.
Lasher will kick it off for Oklahoma. The Sooners are in white. We are in Lincoln, Nebraska, and we are ready to go.
We are ready to go.
We are. Nebraska volleyball is heading to Tampa and a date with Pittsburgh next Thursday night at 6 o'clock in the Final Four. A sweep of Georgia Tech on Thursday, then a 3-1 win over Arkansas last night has Nebraska volleyball team headed to its 6th Final Four in the past 9 seasons and 17th in program history, 11th in John Cook's coaching career. And as I wrote earlier, I think back to the movie Varsity Blues when summing up this weekend's individual and team performances. So harken back to the movie quote I just gave you.
Yeah.
In the 2 games, Merritt Beeson this weekend led the way with 30 kills, 19 digs, and 10 blocks because,
that's what Merritt
Beeson does.
Yeah.
Harper Murray on the 2 games had 20 kills, 16 digs, 4 blocks because, that's what Harper Murray does. Yeah. Allie Batenhorst, 19 kills, 5 digs, 4 blocks because
that's what she
does. Becca Alec last night. Becca Alec does this a lot, but last night was
different.
Another level.
That was a different level.
Oh, my goodness. 12 blocks last night.
I heard John Cook say that they took 185 swings compared to Nebraska's 155 swings because of their offense.
Yeah.
And they play so fast. And Nebraska outdigged them by 35.
Yeah.
But that's a lot more swings than Nebraska took. You would think with that amount of swings that they would have won the match.
Yeah. You would.
But they didn't.
But and a big part
one team has Lexi and the other team doesn't.
Speaking of, Lexi made incredibly difficult digs look easy time and time again because that's what Lexi does. Oh, by the way, Lainey Choboy laid out for digs and wound up flying into her head coach and into the bench head first trying to save a ball.
Because that's what she does.
And the team, and this is where, to me, the most important, they faced some pretty high-pressure situations in that match last night, and they just responded like champions do. And they got themselves to Tampa because that's what they do. They handle pressure situations, and they just move through them and win.
Starting 4 freshmen with 5 freshmen in the class, but they don't act like freshmen. And we talk a lot about that, but they played so much club volleyball and they played so much high-level volleyball that and now they're not freshmen. That's the old cliche, but it's not a cliche. At this time of year, you're not a freshman anymore.
No.
They've been through the war, a lot of wars, the Big Ten, with 2 teams represented in the Final Four in Tampa. Obviously, I don't know what the betting lines are, but I would imagine if you go to Vegas that Wisconsin's probably the favorite.
Yep.
Pitt's probably right up there. Nebraska, despite being the number 1 ranked team in the country, is not the favorite in the Final
Wisconsin
Four.
is, but Nebraska's the number 2 choice.
Yeah, I would say so. And Pitt, by the way, nice comeback. They were down 2 sets love.
Yeah, but it stinks because Danny Busboom Kelly's out. I mean, it would have been Danny Busboom Kelly versus John Cook.
That would have been so much fun to see that. Or maybe for Nebraska to have faced Kentucky last night. That would have been fun as well.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. But Nebraska got all they wanted and more. That was, aside from the Wisconsin loss, maybe the toughest match of the year. They were down 2-0, though, to Penn State and came back and did the reverse sweep, as Beeson called it.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was so much fun to watch, and we'll talk a lot of Husker volleyball with John Baylor.
Yeah, we got JB coming up, and then Tanya Taki at 6 o'clock.
Yep.
Shohei Ohtani signs a 10-year, $700 million contract with the Dodgers. I can't say what I typed out here because I'd get fired and we'd probably lose a license or two. But are you kidding me?
Yeah, Trout's contract was
like $463 million.
Yeah, that was the previous high.
Yeah.
$70 million a year.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're the Dodgers. That's what they do. They spend money.
Yeah. I mean, not taking it, whatever, man. Props to him. And it's going to be nice to watch my Rangers beat him in the World Series next year. So they're going back to back. Nebraska women's hoops beat Michigan State yesterday, 80-74, behind 13 points and 17 rebounds from Alexis Markowski. 6 other Huskers scored at least 8 points. That tells you how deep of a team and balanced of a team Amy Williams has.
They didn't play especially well late in that game. They didn't close it out well. 24 turnovers.
Yeah.
But that's a big win. They really shot it well with 10 threes.
Yeah.
And Markowski's a beast on the board.
And Jazz Shelley was not on fire. And they still hit 10 threes. That was a big key. Yeah. They sit at 8-2, 1-0 in the conference. Earlier in the week, speaking of Jazz Shelley, she had her second career triple-double in a 108-35 win over North Carolina Wilmington. She went for 19 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists. They're off till next Sunday when they host the Southern University Jaguars at noon at PBA. Jaguars. Husker men blow a 17-point lead at Minnesota Wednesday. They lose 76-65, 12 second-half turnovers, and a effort that was as lackluster as the Creighton game in the second half against Minnesota. Nobody going after rebounds, nobody going after loose balls. All the effort plays were won by Minnesota, and I just don't get it. I don't know how the switch flipped and how it flipped that far downward. I don't know what's broken right now, but it has been absolutely astonishing to see kind of the 2 things that players can control is attitude and effort.
Right.
I haven't seen a great attitude and effort from this team for 60 of the last 80 minutes that they played in game time. They get a chance to right the ship tonight, but against a pissed off Tom Izzo team, good luck.
They're coming off a loss to Wisconsin. Wisconsin beat them in East Lansing, 70-57 earlier this week. So they're really pissed off.
Did you hear what Izzo said? He goes, I'm going to put the pads back on them and ignore what the lawyers told me. So I can imagine that practice was not necessarily overly fun for Michigan State the last few days. 4-4?
That's crazy that Michigan State, who was in the top 5 to start the season, is 4-4 at this point, and that's exactly what they are. They're mad.
Yeah, and
they're angry.
A couple of side notes on the game. Josiah Alec is out. He was listed as questionable. He did not go through warmups. The ankle evidently has given him a few more fits than what they expected. However, in uniform and going through warmups, Ramel Lloyd Jr. Will he play? I don't know. But
what about Blaze Cada? Is he going to play this year?
I don't think so.
I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the effort, but also Nebraska doesn't close out on shooters very well. I think that was one of the things that it really bothered me against Minnesota is so many wide open looks. We saw that against Creighton as well. The effort just was not good. You understand that 3-point shooting comes and goes, and Nebraska shot 17% over their last 2 games, the 3-point line. Tamanaga has completely disappeared over the last couple of games.
He got beat up at Minnesota, and the
I guess he played pretty well against Creighton.
The officials let it go. And the one knock on Tamanaga that I think, if you're going to critique him and tell him to maybe work on it a little bit, is stop flopping. Stop acting like every time you shoot the ball that you've been hit. Every time somebody does touch you, don't play it up. Just play through it. And now in the Minnesota game, though, he was getting downright beat up.
He was.
And it got him a technical because of not getting those calls.
But that's what happens to really good players. But he was a preseason all-league player. He should get a few calls.
And that's the thing that's weird. Like, if you're the Big Ten, and we all know that nobody in the Big Ten or at any school has any communication with any referees and say, give this person favorable treatment, whatever. And I know they do their best and all that. But at the same time, as a league, you have an international superstar. The guy is a monster in Japan. And how do you not maybe tap the officials on the shoulder and go, don't let teams you've got to call some of that stuff.
I agree.
He's a guy that needs, if he gets 12 to 15 shots a game, he's going to average 20 plus points a game. And it's going to be good for the Big Ten as well as college basketball, as well as Nebraska.
I wonder about the ankle, and Sam Hoiberg intimated that he may not be in the best shape right now. Watch Steph Curry, and he's noticed the Japanese Steph Curry is Keisei Tamanaga. He runs all over the floor. When he's healthy, he is running constantly through screens to get open. You don't see that as much right now. And Nebraska hasn't been patient enough to keep passing it to him. He's their best shooter. He should shoot a lot. And sometimes you see guys shooting that shouldn't be taking shots. He's one of those guys that should always be taking shots.
Yeah.
But I do wonder about his health. I wonder about his physical conditioning.
Yeah, and if the ankle's bugging him, the physical conditioning is not going to be where it needs to be, because you're not going to go out and work that ankle if it's causing you that many problems. The one thing, and you brought it up, they've got to get it to him, especially when he's open. There's 2 plays. I'm not going to name the player, but he had a same teammate twice, that had him open in a corner, no one within 30 feet of him, and they went 1-on-2 on a break.
Yeah.
I don't care how good you are at finishing at the rim. You've got one of the best shooters in college basketball wide open in the corner for a 3, and you choose to call your own number. And I think that decision is part of what's going on, to me, that is the problem with this team right now. There's a little bit too much eye.
Well, we'll talk a lot of hoops, mostly a little bit later in the show. We got to get to volleyball time.
I know.
And I want to make a little more extra time here for John Baylor, the voice of Nebraska volleyball. He's headed to Tampa. Nebraska's punched their ticket to Tampa for the Final Four. They'll be taking on Pittsburgh Thursday night. We'll talk a little volleyball with John Baylor, the voice of the Huskers, next.
Introducing The Outlet by Sartor Heyman. The Outlet brings you luxurious Sartor Heyman quality jewelry at unbeatable prices. Shop our expansive inventory of overstocked merchandise and a vast estate collection that just hasn't found its home yet. This is your chance to own stunning designer jewelry at a fraction of the cost. Elevate your style at The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Downtown at 12th and O, or online at sartorheyman.com.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want, because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day, because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
You can get diesel anywhere, but what about Atomic Diesel? That comes from Stern. Atomic Diesel is your solution to all your cold weather problems. Prevent clogged fuel filters, increase your fuel economy, and save money with Atomic Diesel. Contact Roger at Stern today by calling 1-800-477-2744 to see how Atomic Diesel and the rest of their line of fuels and lubricants can keep your operation running at max capacity.
A child's learning doesn't just happen in a classroom. It happens wherever they are, all day, every day. What you teach your child at home is every bit as important as what they learn in school. Talk to your child about your family, your history, the food you eat, the holidays you celebrate, and the values that are important to you. Tolerance, honesty, respect. Remember, you are your child's first and most important teacher.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
There's only one place this holiday season to shop for the sports fan in your life and get cash back for slightly used sports items you don't need anymore. Play It Again Sports. Check out their selection of new and used items, including home fitness equipment like treadmills, exercise bikes, and ellipticals, and get your lift with free weights, benches, and racks to add to your home gym. And don't forget, if you have anything slightly used to trade in, they'll give you instant cash. Holiday shopping starts and ends at Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Our sales, precision ag, parts, and service teams are ready to serve you this planning season. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
It's 3 games for the price of 2. Don't miss a Western Conference Finals rematch between the Lincoln Stars and the Fargo Force, December 8th through 10th at the Icebox. You can purchase a December weekend package now to lock in your seats for all 3 games while only paying for the value of 2 of them. Skate on down to the Icebox or head to LincolnStars.com to purchase your tickets today.
Husker fans, the Nebraska women's basketball team battles the Indiana Hoosiers on Sunday, January 7th at Pinnacle Bank Arena, and they want to see you there. Help them pack PBA as they retire Jordan Hooper's jersey, host a team reunion for the 2013 and 2014 teams, and give your Huskers a true home court advantage. For tickets, go to huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED. Come early and get your very own replica Jordan Hooper jersey retirement banner while supplies last. Get your tickets today at huskers.com/tickets.
This is Sunday Rewind on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, Sunday Rewind. Tom Stevens, Mike Melby here, joined by the voice of Husker Volleyball. I'm guessing he's in a pretty good mood because he's watching a little YMCA basketball, or maybe he's calling it right now. John Bailey, the voice of the Huskers. How are you?
I'm very well. Sunday Rewind. What we're doing right now is we're rewinding.
That's right.
The entire week.
That's right.
You see, it was winding during the week, and now we get to rewind it. And there's a lot of good, fun stuff to rewind at this juncture.
That's right.
Tom and Mike, I love it.
We tend to look back at the week and the best things that happened during the week, and the best thing that happened was Nebraska volleyball making another Final Four, the first time since 2021. But I would have told you that at the start of the season, starting 4 freshmen, what would you have told me?
They have a shot to make it here because they're so special. And when I saw them in Central City, you just realized not just talent, but chemistry, bravado, like they're special. And so sure, on paper, it looks like a little bit of a surprise, but man, I mean, these are 4 of the top recruits in the country, and they've come together and a little ahead of schedule. It's a special season, and more to come.
It really is, though. As I was kind of going through and recapping the game, not just yesterday's game, but both matches, I found myself just saying, well, Merritt Beeson played awesome and led the team because that's just what she does. Lexi made spectacular digs because that's what she does. Lainey dove in the crowd because that's what she, like, they all have their own roles, but they do it so excruciatingly well. It's so fun to watch. Did you expect the consistency and everybody to buy into their roles at the beginning of the season?
Yes, I did, because there really were not a lot of positions available. that everyone kind of going into the season. I mean, Becca Alec had the first middle spot. Merritt Beeson was going to be your right side. Harper Murray was going to be your top left side. So the question became, who's going to play the second middle? Who's going to play the second outside? We knew the libero. We knew the setter. So, I think when they signed on for this year, everyone kind of knew what their positions would be. But you're right, Mike. They're just, team first. You've got Caroline Juravicius willing to redshirt. You've got Allie and Lindsay both willing to stick around, even though, they were one's the top 2 recruit in the country, there's a top 3 recruit in the country, and they're playing part-time. And it's pretty remarkable how selflessness has become synonymous with Nebraska volleyball.
That was obviously a great match. It felt like a 5-setter, even though it went 4. Nebraska really struggled in the first set. They were down 21-16. I thought that, man, this is going to take a Herculean effort to win the first set. They came back. They did what Nebraska does. They just keep fighting. They win that first set, which was huge. They win the second set. Arkansas takes the third. But it felt like it just took Nebraska a while to adjust to the fact that they were playing a much smaller team, but they were so quick and so fast that you really can't compare them to anybody they played this year, can you?
I think that's fair. It was just faster than any we've seen before. Jalen Reyes on the postgame show said, look, if we'd played 3 or 4 teams like that, we could have adjusted more quickly, but they are so fast. It's just a really fun style, and it shows you, hey, size isn't everything. You don't have to be tall. You don't have to look the part. You can be diminutive and still be incredibly effective. They're a really special team, Arkansas. They've got a lot to be proud of, and the Huskers, I'm still not sure exactly how they did it. I mean, how did they win that first set? And that fourth set was a toss. It was 20-20, and Nebraska just pulled away at the end. I think it speaks to this mindset they have. They just, they should never be counted out. I mean, if they're fortunate enough to get the championship match and Wisconsin's on the other side of the net, Nebraska's your underdog, but I don't know if I'd bet against them.
Last night, Becca Alec put on a show. I know she didn't set a school record or NCAA record, but the way she affected that match and her teammates with her play, to me, was just next level.
Yeah, I mean, Merritt gets the Regional Player of the Year award, but Becca might have been most important. And she's also the best body bumper on the team. I mean, she gets a big block. She starts stomping around, starts bumping each other, and she's just getting all fired up. But yeah, her energy, her swagger, it just means so much. I mean, the idea that she's not even a captain just also suggests how much leadership there is on this team. I just, this is a special bunch, and nearly all of them, all the huge contributors at least, should be back next year. But still plenty of wood to chop in 2023.
Yep. John Baylor, voice of the Husker volleyball. You talk about leadership. A lot of it comes from Merritt Beeson, who just got here. She got to Lincoln and then was immediately named captain. John Cook talked about it yesterday at the presser and has talked about it for a while, that she might be even more valuable off the court than on the court. And she was the MVP of the entire regional.
That's saying a lot, because she took so many critical swings. Look, Huskers could have lost that match yesterday. I mean, there's just that thing was almost a toss-up. It's two different styles, and man, Arkansas was playing with nothing to lose and playing aggressively, and Merritt Beeson got so many big swings. Late set 1, late set 4, and then Harper had some big swings late set 4. But I'm just thinking of all the matches: the Wisconsin home match Nebraska won, the reverse sweep comeback at Penn State. It's just Merritt Beeson's in the middle of them offensively. Just Bergen sets Merritt when she absolutely needs a kill. And it's not like she's overpowering defenses. She's finding those openings, not just between the block, but somehow as well on the floor behind the block. It's just remarkable how well she sees the floor, how mature she is. And you're right, she is just beloved off the court as well.
There were a couple of plays, JB. John Baylor joining us on the Allo VIP line, Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. There were a couple of plays on the replays where I called it surgical with a Merritt Beeson kill. The time that it takes for her to process where the ball is, when she needs to jump, and then the angle to twist her wrist or whatever, the arm swing, and how she's going to play it, whether she's going to tool it, whether she's going to go with a roll shot. And the two plays that came to mind, it literally was surgical precision, just outside and outreached arm on the block and just in front of somebody where there was no way they could get it. It was a guaranteed kill. Unbelievable. Have you ever seen anybody that has just kind of that much precision when they hit?
Well, I mean, it's tough to think of anyone better than Michaela Fecky or Jordan Larson, but yeah, or Sarah Pavin. But she is such a cerebral, heady, high volleyball IQ player, and we're a different team without her. I mean, if she doesn't choose Nebraska, if she chooses Wisconsin or chooses Auburn, those are the three teams she was thinking about transferring to. We're a different team, and we're a player short. This is not the magic carpet ride we've got. And I was talking to the Kentucky head coach, Craig Skinner, who saw her in the SEC for 2 years. And he was saying, it's just, she's remarkably better. It's not just statistically, but in so many ways since arriving here. So it's just, it's been so mutually beneficial. She's so happy. Apparently she wasn't super happy at Florida. And she has a touch. She has a vision that is pretty unique, Mike.
She said that the reason she chose Nebraska to transfer to is she wanted to be pushed. And obviously John Cook is one of those people, but she also credits Jordan Larson. It's kind of amazing that Jordan has had this big of an impact this quickly to me.
Well, Laney talks about her as a passing savant, helping Laney get her passing woes behind her. And Ellie Batenhorst has been a different player since Jordan arrived. You know, it's kind of like if Larry just showed up in the gym and I'm working on my three-pointer and Larry Bird shows up and he just starts talking. Or he doesn't even talk. He's just in there watching. And maybe he's just kind of doing the old fadeaway on his own. I mean, I just, you feel better, you do better, you just kind of try to mimic one of the great ones. So she has the presence, but I think what's a bit of a surprise is that her communication is so strong. I mean, name the last legendary player who's a great coach. You got Karch Karai, you got Larry Bird. I'm slowing down. And Jordan Larson's trying to do something that maybe two people have done well, and that is become a great coach after being a great player. So, so far, so good. And she's having a great time. I mean, her focus is going to be Paris for the next 6 months after next weekend. But after that, I expect she's going to stay in coaching. And I wasn't so sure 3 months ago.
John Baylor joining us on the Allo VIP line. John, Pittsburgh is up next. They have a reverse sweep against Louisville last night. Danny Busboom Kelly out in the Elite Eight. Disappointing, but I'll tell you what, Pittsburgh looked pretty dangerous. They're a team that when they get things going their way, they just carry that momentum and get on a roll. How does Nebraska fight off what Pittsburgh is going to throw at them?
Hey, very good question. Right now, I'm still living in the giddy aftermath of last night's victory. But
you got 3 hours left in that 24-hour window. Live it up.
Pittsburgh, Tony Dorsett went there. Jackie Sherrill coached him. Dan Marino went there. But they also hit better than 400 in the regional semifinal against Washington State and just smothered Washington State. So you hit better than 400 in the third round of the NCAA tournament, you're really, really good. And Dan Fisher's one of the best coaches in the country. He's doing something that very few have done before. Danny Busboom was one of the others. Coming out of nowhere, basically a top 25 program that now is a perennial top 10 program. That doesn't happen very often in volleyball. It doesn't happen very often in any sport, but to emerge and suddenly arrive and stick around and not fade back again is stunning. I mean, he's now been a top 10 program for 4 or 5 years, no sign of going anywhere, and he's now in the party. I mean, the party used to be 5 or 6 teams that could win a national championship every year, and now it's 8 or 9 or 10. Yeah. And Pittsburgh's in the conversation, and this is a rematch of the 2021 national semi. The Huskers were the better team that day. And this is a much stronger Pittsburgh team. I think we catch a break by getting Pittsburgh and not getting a red-hot Texas team or an overwhelming Wisconsin team. But thank goodness Huskers don't have to play both Texas and Wisconsin, just either or if the Big Red's fortunate enough to get through Pittsburgh. But what an accomplishment. 17 Final Fours now.
It's incredible.
For Nebraska in 42 years. 17 Final Fours. And Coach Cook, 11 Final Fours in 24 years.
But the first since 2017. He mentioned, John Cook did, that they felt the pressure. They didn't play their best volleyball against Arkansas, and Arkansas had a lot to do with that. They were tough to adjust to, and they're a really good volleyball team. Do you think now that they're in the Final Four the pressure is off and they can play a little more loose, or is the pressure still on being the number one ranked team?
Heck no. I think you play hard. I mean, I don't understand this whole thing that now that we're in the Final Four, the pressure's off. I mean, sure, that's the goal. You want to get to the Final Four, but if you're there, you might as well try to win the whole thing. I remember in 2015, Nebraska was just totally unexpected, even though it was in Omaha, that they would get to the Final Four, and more of the same in 2018. In 2016 and 17, it was pretty expected. Anyway, you get there and it's a big deal, and you're yelling Omaha all year long. And while you're there, though, sure, you've accomplished that goal, but why don't just go win the thing? I mean, you're here. I mean, you're not anywhere else. You're here. Let's go try to win the thing. So, yeah, these are the kind of things that media and fans talk about: pressure off, pressure on. I mean, they've accomplished something, but I think they understand it. It'd be a disappointment if they don't play Sunday.
Now, I can't wait for it. Thursday against Pitt. What time is tip for that?
7 o'clock
7
Eastern.
o'clock.
Subtract by 1. 6
All right.
p.m. Central.
Beautiful. Well, have a fun vacation and bring back that trophy. Bring it back.
Any show that discusses Tony Dorsett and Jackie Sherrill is a great show. Great.
You're the man. We'll talk to you after the championship.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. There you
Thanks,
go.
JB.
JB, John Baylor, the voice of Husker volleyball. He's always fun.
I wanted to throw out Hugh Green. Because Hugh Green played it.
Was he the only lineman to ever win the Heisman? Didn't he win the Heisman, or did he?
I think he was close.
Or it was like
He was second. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like one of the few linemen to ever be. And it would have been in Ndamukong Suh. I still say, had he made that sack in the end zone or not, Colt McCoy, because Colt McCoy just barely got out of the end zone. Remember that at the end of that game? If he makes that sack for a safety, and Ndamukong Suh wins the Heisman that
I
year.
actually think if they don't put the second back on the clock and Nebraska won the conference championship, he wins it.
Well, he was too good. If he doesn't actually rush Colt McCoy as hard as he did, and McCoy, holds on to it for a second longer, the game's over.
So to prove the point of fans taking to social media that are passionate about their teams, the vitriol coming out of Ohio State's fan base towards Kyle McCord is astonishing. And
it is nuts.
And Nebraska fans,
can you equate it to anything? Okay, go ahead.
So the Nebraska fans are Nebraska fans, and we all know what they are as far as getting on social media. Trending on Twitter right now, Kyle McCord.
And he's gonna be here tomorrow.
Yeah, he's gonna be here tomorrow. Julian Fleming will be here either tomorrow and or Tuesday. There's been rumors all week that it's going to be a package deal. If McCord goes to a school, more than likely Fleming's going to go as well.
They need another quarterback as well. Sam Levitt. Sam Levitt would be my choice for quarterback number 2.
And I asked both Sam McHugh and mainly Sam McHugh about it, and he said that Levitt wants to start. He doesn't want to back anybody up. And so that's the thing. He's already been sitting. He redshirted.
He wants a
this year.
guarantee. All these guys want a guarantee.
I don't know that I haven't heard guarantee. I've heard guarantee from people that claim they know something, and I don't think they do. And it's the guarantee is wanted from the father, not necessarily Kyle. Right. But at the end of the day, bottom line, to a lot of people's point, you got to get him here. You got to get him to sign with you, and then you just need him to do their job. And if their job is they do their job well enough to be a starter, then so be it. But essentially, Matt Rule kind of promised starting job to Jeff Sims because the gist was they kind of ran Casey Thompson off. So don't know. Bottom line is, though, I think it's going to be an upgrade if Kyle McCord does wind up coming to the University of Nebraska at the quarterback position.
By the way, Michigan State, Nebraska tied it to 17:51 left to go in the first quarter. They get Kyle McCord. It uplifts this entire state because you're going to bring Fleming with him, and who knows who else. I mean, we saw a little bit of that with Raiola. That if you get Raiola, you get this guy, and you get this guy, and this guy.
But the question is, and this is where a lot of people feel like they need to go get a running back in the portal. If you get Kyle McCord and Julian Fleming to commit to Nebraska, it makes you wonder if they are going to go get a running back because there may be one out there that's like, yeah, those two guys, I want to go play with them.
Even Marcus Washington, if he gets that 6th year or 17th year, whatever it is.
real quick, from the pregame press conference on the radio with Fred Hoiberg, Matar Diop is going to see an increase in minutes, as well as Eli Rice. And a quote from Hoiberg, he said, he's a guy that can take the lid off. And I think they need someone who can take the lid off right now.
I like the quote from Hoiberg. Maybe we'll get sick of being punked or something along those lines.
Yep.
I mean, he was calling out his team a little bit. And he should, because one of the things that Trev Alberts really wants to see from all the programs is toughness. I think that's one of the reasons he hired Rule. That's what he thought he was getting from Matt Rule. And I think we did see a lot of that in year number one. Now we saw a lot of mistakes as well. But effort and mental toughness, something you always see from Husker volleyball, has been missing from men's sports, from the men's sports at Nebraska.
Yeah, it really has, and it's been confusing. A little bit of it, and we talk about the last 8 years in football. It's just kind of, guys almost expect to lose, and I had alluded to the fact that nobody on the Nebraska roster has been here for the last 8 years of all this losing, one single player. And then you said, yeah, great point. However, Mike, big brother, little brother. So the little brother is going to learn from the big brother, and if that's the way it is, and hopefully the attitude changes for the Huskers on the hard court tonight.
Yeah.
But like you and I talked about earlier, man, Tom Izzo was mad, and his team, is going to bring it tonight.
Well, let's continue the discussion of Husker hoops. It's on TV. We can give you continual score updates. We can't do, obviously, any play-by-play, nor would you want that. All you have to do is turn on the TV and watch it for yourself. But we'll give you score updates, and we'll talk a little Husker hoops in this next segment. Mike Melby, Tom Stevens, Husker Rewind every Sunday, 5 to 7. More on the way.
Hey, it's Chad with the Nutrition Authority, inviting you to stop in and check out the all-new complete post-workout recovery, CPR. CPR is ideal for anyone who works out or competes and wants to maximize results. CPR can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today and try a free sample, or visit us at mynutritionauthority.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. The holidays are here, and Fairway has everything you need for charcuterie boards, shrimp trays, party platters, wine, beer, spirits, and more. Plus, custom fresh cuts on USDA choice or prime grade beef, all-natural pork, fresh chicken, and seafood. Your holiday meals start at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness specialize in getting rid of people's pain quickly and permanently. For 31 years, they've been extremely successful with advanced techniques in pain relief using spinal adjustments and decompression, detoxification, diet and lifestyle modification, and more. They are fully equipped to handle the most seasonal athlete, weekend warrior, car accidents, strains, sprains, and more. Is there anywhere you're experiencing pain on your body, or are you fighting decreased energy and depression? Consult Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness first at 402-476-8619.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Service Ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com. Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks, exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
A child's learning doesn't just happen in a classroom. It happens wherever they are, all day, every day. What you teach your child at home is every bit as important as what they learn in school. Talk to your child about your family, your history, the food you eat, the holidays you celebrate, and the values that are important to you. Tolerance, honesty, respect. Remember, you are your child's first and most important teacher.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
This is Sunday Rewind on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Husker Rewind here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. I'm Mike Melby. That is Tom Stevens.
Hello.
First media timeout, a little over 14 minutes to go, and Michigan State 8, Nebraska 6. I think Juwan Gary's got a couple of free throws. Rank had a beautiful little baby left-handed skyhook, and Casey hit a 2.
Now 10-6 with about 14 minutes, 14:32 left to go in the first half.
Yeah, the one thing that Michigan State we know is going to want to do in the game today is get up and down the floor. And when Nebraska's had success against teams that want to run over the course of specifically last year, they walked the ball up the floor. They slowed them down. They made them play at a pace that Nebraska wanted to play at. When Nebraska's gotten into those run and gun games and they just play along, normally things don't bode well, i.e. a week ago Sunday when Creighton destroyed Nebraska.
Right.
So,
and if they were better at it, then I'd be fine with it.
Yeah.
If they had a point guard that could really control the pace, even if you had an Alonzo Verge, but you don't have that, and you're trying right now to take Jamarcus Lawrence, who's not a natural point guard, and make him that. And he really struggled against Minnesota. 7 turnovers, just 1 assist. He did have 16 points, had one of his better offensive games. But it was one of my big concerns when you moved him to point guard is that you're ruining 2 positions. One that Lawrence is really good at, the off guard position. But when you didn't get Aaron Eulis and when he got in trouble with the NCAA, you had to do something. They went and got Jerron Coleman, and they moved Jamarcus Lawrence to point guard.
Well,
And
Jamarcus was playing point before Coleman.
Right. Well, in Spain.
That move was good. Well, that was going to happen, though.
But
that move
Eulis was going to
before.
be the guy that they were going to rely on at the point guard position.
But Lawrence, my understanding from over the summer was that they were moving Jamarcus Lawrence to point. Now, Eulis would have been not necessarily the backup, but would have been in the mix as well. And just kind of what we've seen, I just kind of glanced up and watched 4 Nebraska guys stand around and 1 Michigan State guy go get an offensive rebound. It's the same thing we've seen for the last couple of games.
Right.
So
we've seen this from Nebraska basketball. When they don't make shots, their body, you just see
the shoulders slump and
the shoulders start slumping. The body language is not good, and they just don't play with the same effort.
Let me ask you this: is the issue that we saw more than a couple of off nights. Is there something internal with this team right now, do you think, that's causing some because I don't get the lack of effort. That's the thing that bugs me.
Well, I have concerns about there are certain individuals on this team who play like individuals, and that's been a problem with Nebraska basketball in the Hoiberg era, is guys playing for themselves and not for the team. But we haven't seen that as much this year. You've seen a team more willing to share the basketball until things started to go a little south against Creighton and then Minnesota. But you were up 15 points, as many as 17 points against Minnesota. There's no reason for the letdown that we saw in the second half against Minnesota. I understand, especially when you consider that
their
best player, Darcy Garcia, injured his ankle. He came back in. He was ineffective. They just sent him right back to the bench. But they still dominated. And Nebraska was like, wow, these guys are actually trying. I think we're going to quit. I don't think that they quit, but certainly the effort was embarrassing. It was completely embarrassing. And
that second half, it truly was.
Fred Hoiberg now is 47-85 in his career at Nebraska, 18-62 in the Big Ten. That's 5 years of basketball, nearly 5 years of basketball.
Yep. Yeah.
That's just not acceptable.
Well, and we're going to learn more as
made three there.
Yeah. They matched the three. So 13-9, Michigan State on top of Nebraska.
Not getting back on defense.
I'll be honest with you. The way that this game and the game next week against K-State plays out, to me, is going to go a long way towards determining whether or not crystal ball, in my mind, sees Hoiberg coming back next year.
Yeah.
I mean, anything can happen. They got on a run when everybody thought their season was over last year. They won, what was it, 8 of their last 10 and got on that great run. That could happen too. They could, find a 2013 or 2014, whatever year it was, last time we were in the tournament, where, they just get hot at the right time. Flip side is they could implode, and you could have infighting and, guys walk away. Think of Teddy Buckets. I think that was a mutual decision between Teddy Allen and Fred Hoiberg that they needed to no longer be
Teddy was
coach
so good
and player.
and so bad all at once.
Yeah.
He could be so great and so terrible all in one game. I really don't want to see another coaching change.
I don't either. I want this to work.
I want this to work.
I think it's going to.
And I still think if they're 500 this year, is that good enough?
No, not even close. They don't win 18 games and get in the NIT. I don't, with this team, with as old as this team is, I'm going to have serious reservations.
Well, I like the recruiting class. I think they've added some nice pieces. If you get rid of Hoiberg, you get rid of that, and you start from scratch again. And I don't want to do that.
I don't either.
I don't want to do it.
I don't either. I've been one of the biggest Fred Hoiberg proponents through all 4+ years of him being here. I've always said I believe in what he's doing, but what's going on right now is puzzling to me. And I believe he can get it fixed. I truly do. And I think he does.
If they win today, that's a big step in the right direction. Nebraska has struggled from three. Tamanaga just hit one from long range, and he seems to be playing well early. But over the last couple of games, they're shooting 17% from three-point range.
Hey, real quick, I'm trying to make sure we get back on the Starter Heyman text line. Technical issues with what we can see and what we can't sometimes, and I think we finally got it figured out. But Walter Donnelly off the Starter Heyman text line, going back to the football side of things, you and I were talking a little bit ago about, hey, if we do get Kyle McCord and Julian Fleming, does that open the door for a big-time running back to come back into the fold or come into the fold for Nebraska? And he said, hey, 4 scholarship running backs, career numbers of carries, Ramir Johnson, 172. Gabe Ervin, 95. Emmett Johnson, 90. Quentin Ives, 0.
Yeah.
So you have no back on Nebraska's roster that had as many carries as a Rex Burkhead or an Amir Abdullah or anybody that was a starting I-back at Nebraska had in a single season. That's their career number of carries. He's got a fantastic point.
And had 1,000-yard rushers since what, 2017?
2017. Yeah. Yep. Divino Zigbo.
Yeah.
Definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Yeah, Walter, we've said that numerous times about numerous things with Nebraska athletics, and we'll see if it changes. I think it will, though.
Matt Rule has made a couple of good points. Hey, if you got a Gabe Ervin or Ramir Johnson from the portal, you might be somewhat excited. I would be a little bit. I think Ramir's a very good running back. Gabe Ervin has been unable to stay injury-free, but he's a 220-pound beast when he gets going. I think he could be very good.
I think
Anthony Grant struggled over the last couple of years.
Yeah, Gabe Ervin to me is an NFL back. I don't see any doubt talent-wise, but if he can't stay healthy, he's never going to play in the NFL. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah.
He's never going to put enough on tape to where the NFL goes, and if he's just, injury prone, it's not going to happen. But I think he's got the talent and ability to be an NFL back.
There you go. We're going to switch back to volleyball for about 15 minutes or so with Tani Taki, one of the great middle blockers of all time for Nebraska volleyball, played for both Terry Pettit and John Cook. So she knows what she's talking about when she talks about Husker volleyball. Saw her as we headed into the match last night. And I think it was Heidi that said, my wife, who said, how do you prepare for a small team like Arkansas? And she said, well, just play my 14-year-olds that I coach every day. I thought it was kind of funny that she mentioned that. She's very entertaining. She knows Husker volleyball, and she's headed to the Final Four in Tampa. Has already bought her tickets. We'll talk to Tani Taki next.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow Mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Whether you're booking a trip to Lincoln for a football game or a volleyball weekend, the Scarlet Hotel at Innovation Campus is the place for you. The Scarlet Hotel is special on many levels, from the delicious Well and Good restaurant on the main floor to the coolest rooftop patio bar in Lincoln, the Barred Owl, on the top floor of the hotel with great views of the city and one of the coolest drink menus. Book your stay or book a staycation today at scarlethotelnebraska.com.
Sunday morning. It's quiet. Not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
There's only one place this holiday season to shop for the sports fan in your life and get cash back for slightly used sports items you don't need anymore. Play It Again Sports. Check out their selection of new and used items, including home fitness equipment like treadmills, exercise bikes, and ellipticals. And get your lift with free weights, benches, and racks to add to your home gym. And don't forget, if you have anything slightly used to trade in, they'll give you instant cash. Holiday shopping starts and ends at Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with 4 Lincoln locations, but now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios at 1040 O Street.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Sunday Rewind.
Take it back now, y'all.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now, here are your hosts, Tom Stevens and Mike Melby.
Welcome back to Husker Rewind here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. For those watching on the Starter Heyman stream, it is live on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube, and Facebook, and on channel 951 on Allo. And all of our guests join us on the Allo VIP line, which is brought to you by Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Michigan State up 25-23. Nebraska hit 6 of 7 shots to take the lead against Michigan State. Keisei Tominaga, Sam Hoiberg with the shot clock running out, and C.J. Wilcher hit 3 straight threes, 1 each. Combined feet of distance between them and the basket, I'm going to estimate it about 87 feet because none of them were within 7 feet of the three-point line when they shot.
The shooting's been great, really good. The defense has been a little suspect. I mean,
they gave some offensive
too
rebounds.
many shots at the rim, and they're not closing out three-point shooters very well. Right now.
But you know who is closing out just a fantastic season of volleyball with only 2 games left?
Who's that?
The University of Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
And we have an expert, the coach of Nebraska 1, former Nebraska middle blocker, one of the best that ever played here, Tanya Taki. Tanya, welcome in. How was last night's match for you? It was a little tense for Tom. He had
very
to go,
tense.
Yeah, he was having issues.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I kind of expected that. Was that I stayed for the last second of the Kentucky-Arkansas game when it was on Thursday, and the Arkansas fans just had this like rowdy, ruckus, like we're here to take names situation, and they just play at like speed than us. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of like playing your little beat you bad.
Well, and it was very difficult. You could see the expressions from Nebraska players. They thought the ball was on the floor many times. It's like playing Nebraska to a certain extent. You think the ball's on the floor, and here comes Lexi. Here comes Lainey Choboy, and it's not on the floor. That reaction was had by Nebraska as well. That's a really good passing and serving team, but they can also dig the heck out of the ball. It's frustrating to play a team like that.
Right. They covered really well. So you'd think you got a block, and then all of a sudden the ball is right back over. Yeah, I mean, Coach Cook was saying that we had to play to the whistle. They're just making spectacular moves. Yeah, they're just and like they jump. What I was noticing is that they are shorter players, so they jump and swing. And so defensively, that's just a different timing because you're expecting the ball to be hit and then it's hit later, but faster. And so it just throws off your timing. That first set, like I could tell that we just with their rhythm yet on defense.
Tanya, I want to ask you about a young lady that plays your former position, Becca Alec. She was at a level as good as she has been in her 2 years at Nebraska. She was at a level I've never seen her at last night. How in the world did she adjust during the match? Is this something that maybe they saw on film and Coach Cook and Coach Larson and Hunter and Reyes gave her pointer? How in the world did she wind up with 12 blocks?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, the adjustments that they had to make to block those girls and just play defense against those girls was different. And I thought if experience or just like she was going to, like they say, great ones adjust. They've been saying that all season. The great ones adjust. And I think she adjusted and just did something that able to do is get blocks on these girls because they just hit at a different speed, a different contact point. was just different, and Becca adjusted.
Yeah. What's the challenge against Pittsburgh? Obviously, Wisconsin and Texas will be a dynamic match. At least we expect that. But looking ahead to Pittsburgh, what do you see there that will be the challenge for Nebraska?
I mean, I thought Arkansas did a really good job of serving, and we didn't, especially in that fourth set, we just didn't pass very well. They have a just rip the ball, and so I think that we're just going to have to be really like dialed in on serve receive so that we can put the ball in front of the 10-foot line. I mean, there was a run there where we were passing really well. We couldn't stop her, and so I think we need to get ourselves to that point as well, so that we're passing well enough to get in situations and just being able to set our outside hitters really well. Like, we weren't setting Allie very well there when we were passing off, and I think that you saw her hit it when we weren't passing well. So I think if we can handle their crazy serves, I think we're going to do pretty well against them.
Interesting. Now, the other match on the other side of the bracket, Texas, one of the hottest teams in the country, if not the hottest team in the country, against what many say, and I think we all agree, is probably the best team in the country, the favorite to win the tournament coming in, I think was Wisconsin, even though Nebraska was the 1 seed. What kind of a match is that going to be? Do you just automatically expect it to go 5?
Yeah, I mean, this one's going to be different. Where I was talking about the Nebraska Arkansas game was like kind of a big sister, little sister kind of a feel, but with Arkansas or with Wisconsin and Texas, it just feels like it's gonna be like the heavyweight fight, like the biggest girls on the biggest stage with a big block, big swings, like Asia O'Neal. You got Schmreck, you got Carter Booth. I mean, it's just going to be like some really heavy swings, big blocks. And so it's just going to be who and still get their same swings. You know, Franklin, I feel like she can get a kill on anything with any block in any situation, but it's just how is everybody else going to adjust so that they can get their kills and swings, even with a humongous block and great defense.
I know you've got your ticket to Tampa. What do you think the advantage will be as far as the crowd is concerned for Nebraska?
In Nebraska, I mean, I've been going to the Final Four since '96, and yeah, there's always Nebraska fans there, even if Nebraska is not in it. But the amount of people who are on Facebook asking, "Hey, who knows who has what tickets?" People that saying, "Hey, if you hear of somebody with tickets." I mean, I know that we haven't had a bowl game and I don't know how long for football, so I think people are.
Phone line is cutting out on Tanya.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Okay, there you are. You go ahead and finish your thought there.
I was just saying that I feel like this is our bowl. Looking for tickets. You know, people are texting me personally saying, "Hey, do you have tickets?" So I think Nebraska fans has always traveled well.
Yeah, it should be so much fun. Thursday, 7:00, Nebraska versus Pitt, and you expect to win, right? You expect to win.
I mean, I think we're going there to win. I mean, I've said all season that our team is fully capable of losing to anyone, and we're absolutely capable of beating just about anyone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of it's just going to come down to how we manage our serve and pass and how we adjust, you know, and if we can make great adjustments, like Becca, you know, the way we were able to defend and keep going and not get down, even though we were, you know, down 5 points in one set, we still were able to come back. So I feel like if we can manage just those difficult things, you know, we've been playing ugly and winning ugly all season, and I feel like it's gonna be no matter what, either team. Like nobody. It's the Final Four. Everybody has their finals week. It's Christmas coming. It's just a very stressful week for those 4 teams.
Right.
So just who can manage all of the things and play the best volleyball, as you know, even when it's ugly.
Do you think we'll see any of Lindsay Krause, or are they set with their lineup? You think by now? Just Lindsay's been out so long that it'll be tough to include her in the lineup.
I mean, I was kind of ready for step 4 when there were 3 or 4 errors in a row. I mean, people are going to err 3 or 4 times in a set. But when they come in a row like that, I was kind of expecting a sub.
Yeah.
I don't know. If she comes in, it's going to be like just for an emotional change. You know, I could see a sub if we're having a set just like Arkansas was, you know, it was 21-7 or something stupid there for a while. Like if we get ourselves in a situation where we just are in a to do something different, like we're going to lose a set, let's just do something different. I could see her coming in, but I think if and doing well and it's point for point, I don't think we'll see her.
All right. Have fun on the trip, and we'll talk to you after Nebraska wins the national title.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's go.
All right. Thanks, Tanya.
Tanya Taki,
right.
one of the great middle blockers of all time, the head coach of Nebraska, won as well. It's been fun having her all season long. What do you think, Krause? Will we see Krause at this point?
I don't think
because
so.
Batenhorst did struggle at times in that match.
Bottom line,
but Krause's been out for so long.
She's got to be healthy. I mean, the talent is undeniable, but if she's not 100% healthy, then I mean, maybe as a changeup, you try it to have her test the ankle, but at the same time, the last thing you want to do is have her re-injure it to the point where maybe it's more long term.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to say they don't need her because she's unbelievably talented. But that's the thing is when you've got this deep of a roster, you know, you can put people in and try stuff. But I think if we see her, it's going to be exactly what Tanya was talking about. It's going to be things aren't necessarily going well, and we need to try a spark.
There you go. That pretty much puts a wrap on Husker volleyball talk for now until next weekend. Let's talk about Nebraska football and the portal. We'll do a lot of that with Brian Munson of Husker Online. He covers Husker football recruiting, mostly high school football recruiting, but he can certainly talk with great knowledge about the portal as well. And Nebraska, of course, going after their guy. I mean, frequent flyer miles aplenty for Marcus Satterfield. The Nebraska offensive coordinator is flying all over the world. He's gone to Pullman to see Cam Ward. Doesn't look like Nebraska's going to get him. Flew to Columbus to see Kyle McCord. Kyle McCord now has indicated that he will visit Lincoln along with Julius Fleming, the wide receiver from Columbus, from Ohio State, who's transferring. He's a former 5-star. Nebraska has been said to been talking in great length with Sam Leavitt of Michigan State, who is transferring. But as we indicated earlier, he wants to start. All these guys want to start, it feels like, at quarterback. And what do you promise them? Well, you don't promise them. I always say, even if you get a Kyle McCord, do you promise him that he's the starter? And it's probably not a good way to go. You're going to have to compete. If you come in and you're terrible in spring ball, you can't just come in and be terrible, right? You got to earn it.
Well, you do, and that's the whole thing. I mean, do you promise guys starting positions? I don't know if coaches do it. I've never thought that it was something coaches should do because of that. I mean, bottom line is you got the feeling that the staff did that with Jeff Sims last year and Casey Thompson both.
Sure.
They told Casey Thompson, Jeff Sims is going to start.
Right.
and that's why Sims came here. But, you know, as it's been well documented here, the back half of the season and since the season is over, that first big swing with the bases loaded, going for the best quarterback in the portal because they didn't feel they had a good enough quarterback here, which I think they did. I think everybody thinks they did. They struck out and horribly. I mean,
right.
And so this is going to be a big get. The thing I wonder, Nebraska fans dream of the quarterbacks in the portal coming to Nebraska are Cam Ward first, but that's not going to happen. Kyle McCord and Sam Leavitt both. And, you know, with the thought process of you get a guy that's going to come and start next year, and you get a guy that is far better than anybody else you currently have on your roster.
Right.
And that includes Daniel Kalen, who is, you know, finishing up his high school career, and he'll be here, I believe, for spring semester.
Sure.
And he'll go through spring ball. But will he do it against Sam Leavitt and Kyle McCord? That's a good question. I think McCord, that's the way everything is looking.
And do you lose Purdy if you bring Leavitt?
I think you possibly lose Purdy if you bring Leavitt, and if not, I think Harburg switches positions.
I think that's the way to go for Harburg. I don't think he's a natural quarterback. Matt Rule talked about it. I mean, he was not even allowed to be in the quarterback meetings last year.
Yeah.
And back to the promise idea. The promise is the money. Hey, when you're willing to pay a guy $1 to $2 million and McCord may command as much as $1 or $700,000, that's kind of your promise.
Yeah.
If you're paying him $700,000, it indicates that you kind of see him as you don't go out and pay a free agent $5 to $10 million. You don't go out and get Ohtani and pay him $700 million and not play him or start him. Of course you start him. The money is the promise to a certain degree.
And that's the problem because, you've got Daniel Kalen coming in and he's going to, I think the thought is he was going to redshirt next year regardless, unless he just comes in and absolutely lights it up. No guarantees, obviously, either way. I would think that would have been the plan. But at the end of the day, if you're, paying Kyle McCord, for the sake of argument, $700,000, even if you have Chubba Purdy here, Chubba's going to be going, okay, well, I've got my NIL deal, but it's not quite what he's getting. I mean, and so that's that whole dynamic of how does the NIL money affect the locker room and those specific position rooms?
Well, let's continue this conversation with Brian Munson of Husker Online. We'll talk the portal. We'll talk high school recruiting, the numbers game, and what else?
Real quick, halftime, Michigan State 34, Nebraska 31.
Nebraska's played pretty well for the first half. The defense has been suspect at times, but if you'd have told me 34-31 Michigan State at halftime, I would have said Nebraska's still in it. So that's good. We'll watch the second half. We'll update you on the score throughout the second half. But first, we'll talk a little Husker football with Brian Munson of Husker Online, and we'll do that coming up next.
It's 3 games for the price of 2. Don't miss a Western Conference Finals rematch between the Lincoln Stars and the Fargo Force, December 8th through 10th at the Icebox. You can purchase a December weekend package now to lock in your seats for all 3 games while only paying for the value of 2 of them. Skate on down to the Icebox or head to LincolnStars.com to purchase your tickets today.
Ready to make this season unforgettable? Celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union's low-rate debt consolidation loan. Combine all those bills into one affordable monthly payment with quick access to funds. Imagine all the extra cash for holiday shopping sprees, festive parties, or that well-deserved vacation. Stop by any of their branches or visit libertyfirstcu.com to find out more about their low-rate debt consolidation loan. Make this holiday season one to remember and celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
The place you call home should always be a place of comfort. Warm and cozy in winter, cool and relaxing in summer. If your home isn't delivering the comfort you expect, call Bryant. It's more than just hot and cold to them. It's about providing the best comfort solutions. And Bryant gives you a full 24-month test drive on your home comfort system. Get full details at BryantLincoln.com or call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Become a member of the YMCA today and enjoy access to all 4 Lincoln locations. Free group fitness classes along with member pricing for the whole family on youth programs such as swimming, dance, and basketball. The YMCA even offers free health assessments to kickstart your workout. Start the new year off right as a member of the YMCA and enjoy no initiation fees through the end of the month. For a list of locations and to join, visit ymcalincoln.org. The YMCA, for a better us.
Experience flexibility like never before with Ace Rent-to-Own. Whether you're decorating a new home or upgrading your electronics, they provide easy payment plan options that suit your budget. No credit checks, no hefty interest rates, just straightforward renting solutions designed with you in mind. Find great options to make a beautifully furnished space or surround yourself with the latest gadgets. With Ace Rent-to-Own, it's all within your grasp. Visit acerentoown.com and bring home more than just a product. Bring home a lifestyle.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
This is Sunday Rewind on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Second hour, Husker Rewind, every Sunday, 5 to 7, as we talk a little football. By the way, in the NFL, my Vikings, they were tied at halftime with the Raiders at 0. They end up winning the game 3-0. I don't remember the last time I saw an NFL game end with the score 3-0. I don't think the weather was a problem. They were playing in Vegas. I mean, this time of year, you're thinking, well, it must be a weather game. It was in Vegas. So, whatever. As I look here, the Chiefs are tied with Brian Munson's Bills at 17 apiece. How'd you become a Bills fan, Brian?
Bruce Smith. Just kind of always liked Bruce Smith in college, and obviously he went to the USFL, and then he came back to Buffalo, and small town market teams.
Yeah.
So the Royals were appealing to me. The Oakland Athletics were appealing to me for that reason. Buffalo always seemed to be kind of like on the outside, looking in, especially in the state of New York. I mean, with the Giants and the Jets, and it's kind of tough to fight with those guys. But they had a great run in the '90s, and trying to kind of still make the playoffs this year, although I think it's going to be difficult with this schedule this month.
I have a buddy that played at Wyoming, and he's obviously a big Wyoming fan, but Josh Allen kind of made him a Bills fan when Josh played for Wyoming. Boy, we would take something like Josh Allen in the portal. Is there any chance that Kyle McCord he's not as athletic as Josh Allen, but we're hearing that Kyle McCord is going to visit Lincoln. How true is that for you?
Well, I mean, Steve Sipple's reporting it. Julian Fleming, it seems, is coming with him. So that would be that would be pretty big for Nebraska to get a couple guys from Ohio State to take a visit. I think it's who Nebraska is kind of settled on. I hate the word settled because I'm not using it as a way of like saying Nebraska's settling for either McCord or Fleming. I'm not. I think Nebraska has done a good job going out there and figuring things out and seeing what other guys are thinking about, all the other quarterback prospects. I think this is like the fifth or one of 5 or 6 guys that Nebraska has kind of been in touch with. And I think that there's a couple of wide receivers out there that Nebraska's been in touch with. And this may be a package deal. I don't think I've ever seen that truly confirmed. It seems like it definitely seems like it could be the case. But I think that this is I don't know if I can think of another portal transfer quarterback who had 11 Big Ten wins. And I think I think that's just such a huge marketable, kind of thing. And that's obviously got to be one of the things that Coach Rule and his staff are very fired up about, with the possibility of bringing him to Lincoln.
Well, even Cam Ward, you think about Cam Ward. I mean, he played on a losing team. I mean, he played on a team at Washington, and Nebraska was recruiting him the first time around when he came from Incarnate Word. Would you rather have Cam Ward, or would you rather have Kyle McCord?
Well, I liked Ward when he was at Incarnate Word. I got some grief for that too. Like, people didn't know where Incarnate Word was at. Like, okay, it's in San Antonio. I don't know what else to kind of tell you, but loved his film, when he was at Incarnate Word. I like I said, you're kind of splitting hairs with both those guys right there. I think they're both very proven commodities. And I think that that's something that Nebraska really feels like they need to have going into the next season. I think that you need other pieces to kind of go around it, though. I mean, I think if you don't get, your wide receiver help, if you don't get that kind of number one running back, I think that they still need some offensive line help. So, I do feel like either one of those two guys would be good for the Huskers. I think that it would really improve the room, obviously, but I think that they definitely need some things and other pieces to kind of go along with it.
Brian Munson from Husker Online joining us on the Allo VIP line. VIP line brought to you by Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. When somebody was giving you some grief about Incarnate Word and who are they and where are they, you should have told them to go ask Tim Miles. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
That's right. Nebraska basketball lost to Incarnate Word.
So, Brian, the requests that I'm seeing on our Sutter Heyman text line are, when are we going to go after a running back? Are we going to go after a running back? That's the question that I guess I would have as well, because I would think if you have two former 5-stars that are going to come to Nebraska, if McCord and Fleming do actually commit and all that, I would think that a higher profile running back in the portal may have an interest in joining them. Have you heard anything? Do you know if they are going after anybody?
There seems to be some rumors around Cartavius Norton out of Iowa State. If you're playing the whole track the flights, I do believe that the plane for Nebraska or for Silverhawk or whatever it's underneath, it actually landed at Ankeny, and Ankeny is not too far down the road from Ames, so that would make some sense potentially. If Nebraska was over there, obviously that's an interesting guy. I think he's got quite a bit of eligibility left. I think ATN was a really interesting guy when he threw his hat into the ring. I wasn't sure if I really saw another running back, maybe besides those two, that I think Nebraska would be interested in taking a flyer on. But you have such a mixed bag of what's going on in the running back room, obviously. I mean, Emmett Johnson stepped up and had himself a season. I think he's kind of emerged, I think, what was he, 4th or 5th, running back down the list before all the injuries and fumbles and stuff like that kind of threw him into getting the carries there. And obviously you don't know what's going to happen with Ramir and Gabe, and that's tough. And I think that you got guys, especially Irvin, that's battled injuries basically since he's got to Lincoln. So I think that they need to find a consistent guy that can kind of go back there, and you can say, hey, you're going to get, 16, 17 carries, and we're going to get you the ball 20 plus times a game. So I think Nebraska needs to find that guy in the portal this year to go along with that quarterback or the running back. It's like what I said, it's like, if you go out there and get just the quarterback, it's a lot like getting a louder stereo because your muffler's blown out. You have to fix multiple things. And if you just address this one area, the deficiency, I think, is amplified when you don't go out there and do anything about it, right now. I think there's multiple parts on the offensive side of the football that really need to be dressed up.
They've got their high school quarterback, Daniel Kalen. You've got Chubba Purdy.
Yep.
Assuming you get Kyle McCord, that's 3. They always have a walk-on or 2 in the mix. Is that enough, or do you assume, Kyle McCord's only a 1-year guy? Do they go get another one? Sam Levitt's out there.
Levitt was interesting. I liked the kid from Baylor before he decided to go ahead and come off the board too, Paven. Yeah, Levitt is an interesting guy. You get some different staggered kind of eligibility. Yeah, it's obviously, I think it's going to come down to what's it going to cost for you to get McCourt. What's the NIL price tag that's going to kind of come along with that? And is there, if you're going off of, what Coach Rule said, in his press conference, where he says, well, it's costing 1.5 up to 2. And if you're getting, however, something for half that price, let's say, for example, maybe there's a potential to get something like in the aggregate there, to kind of come up to to that total that he was talking about. But yeah, I think it's a possibility. It's definitely got to be something that they're looking at and trying to address. Yes, there is a walk on again in the 2024 class, that they're adding to the roster too. The room is going to be very different come springtime. Obviously, it's just going to be a matter of, is it one transfer or 2 to go along with Daniel Kalen, getting over there as well. He will be enrolling at semester.
Brian Munson from Husker Online joining us on the Allo VIP line. Off of the Starter Heyman text line, Walt points out that at Incarnate Word right now, the third string quarterback is former Husker Richard Torres. And then Vince wants to know if, Brian, you have heard any scuttlebutt on the possibility of Nebraska landing a quarterback coach and some maybe staff changes with responsibilities.
I have heard a number of things just floating around in just the rumors and the possibilities. Nothing seems to be completely and totally put together. I do anticipate some offensive staff shakeups. I don't know when that right timing is gonna kind of happen. I don't know if I don't think that anybody is gonna be asked to move along. Does that mean though, however, you don't have a guy that's aspiring, that's maybe looking to get out of Lincoln to go do something else somewhere else, change responsibilities a little bit? That's absolutely a possibility. There's a ton of good jobs out there, and a staff like Michigan State's coming together. So I do feel like there are going to be some offensive staff shakeups. I just don't know who, and the timing of that is really TBD. I think getting in here, it's really sensitive now. You're really getting in really close to National Signing Day, and how does Nebraska kind of make all that work if an assistant coach decides to hop out now? So yeah, I think that there will be some changes. I'm just not sure of who and for when.
Brian Munson of Husker Online, our guest. You mentioned National Signing Day is upcoming, but this is one of the quietest Decembers I can ever remember. I think you've written about it as well. So we're talking about the portal because there's no really high school recruiting to talk about. How strange is it for you that that's what you do, and yet there's nothing to talk about?
I had no choice but to lead off in it with it, in Tunnel Talk on Friday. I mean, there's a really, really, really good chance, guys, that Nebraska does not host a single high school player for an official visit in the month of December.
Yeah.
I just don't even know, look, times have changed. The calendar has been moved to the left. Schools are trying to fill up their classes, to be, 90% of the way done by August 1st. Nebraska only had a couple of moving parts anyway, throughout the season. I think that Nebraska could still, add a couple of guys to the class. I know JD Crisp is no longer part of that group, and I think Nebraska has a couple of defensive backs that are out there that are hanging around that I think that they could potentially add, like Tarver and Amari Sanders, and both those guys have already taken their official visits. So I think it's just going to really come down to what's kind of the right fit there with them. And I think that they've all got spots, but yeah, it's been a strange December. It's been a really, really, really odd December. And I think, you'll see some official visitors in January, but those are guys that are already committed that did not get a chance to take an official visit before December, like Ingwerson and Benning and Cook. And I think that there's, those three right there.
Brian Munson from Husker Online joining us on the Allo VIP line. Brian, another name. First of all, I want to remind fans that haven't heard, if they live under a rock, Cam Lenhart, Princewell, Umami Ellen are like getting postseason awards for all freshman teams. Princely Uman Mielen is in the transfer portal with 1 year to play. He's been a holy terror the last couple of years. Are there any chances? Are there any calls being made? Is there an offer that you know of to Princewell's brother?
No offers yet. Not going to sit there and tell you for a second that I don't think that that's going to be somebody that Nebraska is, I think that they would be interested in that, because they're those kinds of guys. They are very valuable to have around. I mean, when you've seen the 49ers here down the stretch, adding Young, adding Gregory, they want to have fresh legs there. They want to be deep at that position, the guys that pin their ears back and go get the quarterback. And I think while you are young, you have a couple guys like that, Princewell and Cameron, they need guidance, and they need help, and they need somebody who can come in there and continue to help them evolve and improve. It goes beyond just the coaching. You need to have great veterans in front of you to kind of help you out with that. And that's where a Prince Lee would be able to help out. I think obviously there's a huge advantage from having a guy like that comes from playing in the SEC, and the action that he has seen down there, and bringing that experience and his talent to Lincoln would certainly help out with that room. I think Nebraska still needs to find ways to get more consistent with the pass rush. I think that they had found, with Hutmacher, that they're getting better, getting inside out and getting pressure. But I think that you need to still get consistent, be more consistent. And you had some injuries between Cameron and Princewell. I mean, you still need to find other guys to add to that room. So Princely would make a ton of sense, but there's been really nothing, yet that has been out there that says he's got an offer from Nebraska or that he's interested in following his brother, other than his brother kind of tweeting at him, which I thought really got Nebraska fans and Husker Nation, really up in an uproar.
Well, I'd say, Brian, we'll have you back on signing day, but that doesn't really mean a lot anymore. So
you can talk about all the guys we already knew about.
We'll make it a holiday. We'll make it
there.
Special,
You go.
Obviously, but it's kind of it's a little bit predetermined these days. Couple of moving parts, something to kind of be thinking about, though, Nebraska fans. Couple really nice cornerbacks and defensive backs could add themselves to the list here still.
All right, I love it. Great stuff as always, Brian. We'll talk to you soon. Merry Christmas.
All right.
There you go.
Yep, you too.
Brian Munson of Husker Online. It's just so weird that it's become like this, that we're talking about free agents, basically. We're talking about portal guys and how much you have to pay them and, moving those pieces around. Nebraska's bringing in 26 guys, and they're going to have to, let's face it, they're probably a little over as it is. You got to get to 85 scholarships. I know there's ways that you can move guys, certain dudes, to NIL and pay for their scholarship that way. But there's a lot of moving parts nowadays. You almost have to have a GM to run things.
Well, and Matt Rule does.
Yeah.
And Casey just hit another three. Nebraska's up 42-36. Izzo with a timeout. This looks like the Nebraska basketball team that we saw the first 7 games so far. This
is fun.
This
is the best they've played since.
Well, yeah, since the prior to the first half
Duquesne?
of the Creighton game. Yeah,
maybe since Duquesne.
Yeah,
and that. They're not turning it over, which they hadn't done really until Creighton and then Minnesota. That 12 turnovers in the second half versus Minnesota. That was a disaster, but they hadn't been turning the ball over at a high level. When this team makes shots and plays a little defense, they're fun to watch. And this has been fun to watch. I don't know that I've seen him on the floor. You're looking at the minutes right now. Has Jerron Coleman played in this game?
No.
That's a little odd because he had been
Not
getting
really at
10
all.
to 15 minutes a game, and now
but
no
if you
minutes.
look at the way he played, is it really that much of a surprise? I'm not trying to be mean, but
I'm not intimating anything, but that's a little. I mean, if you would have told me before the game that he's not playing 1 minute, I would say maybe he's in the doghouse.
Well, yeah, I mean, and maybe there's an injury that we don't know about, although they're required to report the injuries. Matar Diop has, I believe, he played 3 minutes. Eli Rice played 5 minutes in the first half. Rice has 5 points. He hit a 3 and made it 2. Sam Hoiberg hit about a 47-footer with 1 second left on the shot clock. But Casey, 3 of 6 from 3 now with that last one. He's up to 11 points. Jawan Gary, 14 points. Rink Mast, what did we see Rink Mast do over and over again in those first 7 games? Brilliant passing. And the feed he just made to Jawan Gary, spectacular.
Beautiful.
Exactly what you need to see happen. He's on his way to a double-double. If he can get the points up, he's up to 7 rebounds already. Only 4 points for him. 2 of 6 shooting, 0 of 2 from 3. But we'll see, man. It's a Tom Izzo coach team, but the vault is rocking right now.
How many minutes left to go?
I think there is 16 minutes, 23 seconds left.
Tons of time. We will not this show will be over before the game is, for sure.
Yeah.
And then there will be a Husker post-game show, but I don't think we're doing it tonight.
No, but I believe Bach and Austin are, and I don't know if Strick's coming in or not.
But tune in for that. That'll be fun. Nebraska's now leading 42-36 over Michigan State with 16:23 left to go in the second half. So pretty exciting news. We'll talk a little Husker basketball. It went from a pessimistic start to the show to maybe a little more optimism. And if they win, certainly a lot more optimism, because Nebraska would improve to 8-2 after a very bad week last week. But we'll talk a little more Husker basketball coming up next.
Allo is turning 20 this year, and we plan to celebrate all year long. Since 2003, Allo has vowed to put customers first and deliver a drastically different experience. No matter where you live, work, or play, we believe you deserve an affordable, secure, and reliable connection. We're proud to have served our businesses and residents with seriously fast fiber optic service for 2 decades. Thank you for trusting Allo as your local internet, phone, and TV provider. Follow us on social media to know about the 20th anniversary celebrations in all our Allo communities.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day, because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Ready to make this season unforgettable? Celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union's low-rate debt consolidation loan. Combine all those bills into one affordable monthly payment with quick access to funds. Imagine all the extra cash for holiday shopping sprees, festive parties, or that well-deserved vacation. Stop by any of their branches or visit libertyfirstcu.com to find out more about their low-rate debt consolidation loan. Make this holiday season one to remember and celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska, or online in your own home. Learn pottery or floral design, take a computer course, learn Spanish, how to start writing a book, or Air Fryer 101. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery, online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Whether you're booking a trip to Lincoln for a football game or a volleyball weekend, the Scarlet Hotel at Innovation Campus is the place for you. The Scarlet Hotel is special on many levels, from the delicious Well and Good restaurant on the main floor to the coolest rooftop patio bar in Lincoln, the Barred Owl, on the top floor of the hotel with great views of the city and one of the coolest drink menus. Book your stay or book a staycation today at scarlethotelnebraska.com.
Constructors Inc., a Nebco company, is now hiring heavy equipment mechanics to maintain fleet equipment and vehicle operations. Constructors offers mechanics a competitive salary, 4-day work weeks with overtime options, a $5,000 hiring bonus, a tool allowance, and great benefits. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. Apply today for their mechanic positions. Visit constructorslincoln.com. Experience flexibility like never before with Ace Rent-to-Own. Whether you're decorating a new home or upgrading your electronics, they provide easy payment plan options that suit your budget. No credit checks, no hefty interest rates, just straightforward renting solutions designed with you in mind. Find great options to make a beautifully furnished space or surround yourself with the latest gadgets. With Ace Rent-to-Own, it's all within your grasp. Visit acerentoown.com and bring home more than just a product. Bring home a lifestyle.
This is Sunday Rewind on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Husker Rewind here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Final segment for Mr. Tom Stevens and myself, Mike Melby. Update, Nebraska 42, Michigan State 38. There is 14:58-ish to play. Tom Izzo had a minor nuclear meltdown at the under 16 media timeout.
He gets a lot of calls.
Immediately there's I don't even think Nebraska had thrown the ball in bounds yet, and there's a whistle, and Nebraska got called for an offensive
guess which
foul.
Guess which coach is the Hall of Fame coach and which one is not.
Yeah.
He's going to get his calls. But that's okay. I mean, it just feels like this is a game where you have an opportunity. Take the opportunity. Nebraska played really well. They made shots. They're making shots at the rim, and Bryce Williams just finishes there. This is solid basketball. When Nebraska, as I said, if they make shots, they're very good. If they don't make shots, it seems to affect their entire game, and they don't play as well on the defensive end.
Well, and they're shooting the ball better tonight, 17 of 37 from the floor, 8 of 18 for three, 44% on the three-pointers with Williams' bucket. I believe he now has 4 points, and that was interesting because he did not score in the first half, and that's one of those where when he has played not great in a half, especially offensively, he came back and had 17 in the second half in a game, and I'm kind of expecting him to be the guy to have 10, 12, 14 in this second half, but as long as Nebraska keeps shooting the ball well, and the key thing to me as well, it goes back to the assists. Nebraska had 7 assists on 11 makes for the game. Now they've got 10 assists on 17 makes. That's Fred Hoiberg, Nebraska 5-out offense basketball. And
if they can finish at the rim like that, that's huge. That's huge because there you go. And we talked about Nebraska's inability to finish at the rim. Juwan Gary just did. He's one of those guys that can. I think Bryce Williams can finish at the rim. Casey did it on a regular basis last year. Well, he needs to draw fouls because guys are guarding him really closely, and he needs to make it really obvious that they're fouling him.
Well, that's the problem is he's been doing that ever since he's been here, and a lot of times he wasn't getting fouled. And so they kind of – you remember when Trey McGowan's would bring the ball up, and he would immediately run in front of a defender, and then he'd stop and let the guy run over him, and that he got 2 calls in back-to-back games, and then the next time that he did it, it didn't get called. He tried it in the next game, it didn't get called, and that was the last time you saw it.
Well, Nebraska wins this game if he plays well down the stretch. I just think so. Michigan State right now only has 2 fouls. That's a problem. Nebraska has 4 fouls, so they're a long way from getting into the bonus. They've been a very good free throw shooting team. There's Casey stealing the ball, and he doesn't get the foul called. I mean, I don't necessarily get it all the time, and he forced one and he still made it. I mean, that's K-State.
I was going to say that's Keisei Tominaga's game, though. I mean, he tonight he is hunting. Remember, Fred Hoiberg makes this comment a lot. He's hunting his shot. He's hunting his shot. Keisei tonight is literally out with every bit of firepower he's got looking for a shot.
This is the time where I'd like to see Sam Hoiberg in the game. I think he's the type of guy where Coleman has struggled with decision-making. Hoiberg usually does not. Now, he struggled with a knee injury. We talked about the conditioning of Keisei. He looks better tonight. He's got to be one of those guys, Keisei, that just runs to get open and drives his guy crazy. That was one of the first things that I noticed about Keisei when he got here, is that he would just run from baseline to baseline to get open. He hasn't done that as much. He looks a little like he's hobbling to the bench right now.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, that doesn't look good.
Timeout Nebraska, and 48-45. The Huskers are up, 12:37 to play in the second half.
He's going to the locker room. I think he's hobbling to the locker room.
Yeah, it looks like Nebraska may wind up finishing this game without Keisei Tominaga. 5 of 10 from the field, 3 of 6 from behind the arc, 13 points. But he is headed to the locker room, so we'll see. It looks like that ankle got tweaked.
We talked about this earlier in the season. The odd man out seemed to be for a while as a big three is hit by C.J. Wilcher. The odd man on the bench out, who we know has a ton of talent, but he was getting pushed around, was Eli Rice. With Coleman going to the bench, Eli Rice gets his minutes.
And Eli Rice has played 5 minutes tonight. He's got 5 points.
Yeah, he made a three, and there's a dunk at the hoop, but he adds something because you have to respect his three-point shot. And he's 6'8". I think he's going to be a superstar at Nebraska if he stays at Nebraska. Now, in this day and age of college basketball, guys don't necessarily stay. But I think that's one of the benefits of sending Coleman to the bench, because he seriously hasn't added a lot to this team. And maybe things change. Maybe he'll learn a lesson or two and he'll become a better basketball player because of it. But Eli Rice in this game, he only gives you 5 minutes, but he gets 5 points and he hasn't made any drastic mistakes. And he's an offensive threat. So I think that's a big benefit for Nebraska. If Eli Rice can add something to this team, and just give us 10 minutes a game. I'd like to see Jop. You mentioned Matar Jop. I'd like to see him involved more often as well. I think they're going to need him against bigger teams in the Big Ten if Blaise Keita is not available.
But yeah, and Jop played 3 minutes in the first half, had an assist, no other stats, but he's a guy. And, Steve Sipple kind of wrote about it. They need a rim protector. And Jop is exactly that.
Yeah.
But he's a offensive liability when it's crunch time, and you need a guy that can finish at the basket like Rank. Obviously, Jop is not going to be taking any threes. But for that defensive presence, especially late in halves and late in the game, he's a guy that to me, you've got to sub in. That athleticism, when he doesn't even try, he goes up to dunk the ball and his elbows are at the rim. Yeah. I mean, it's just insane.
He's still learning the game. He's so new to the game.
Yep.
But the athleticism is out of this world. I mean, he can jump, it seems like beyond the cylinder. I mean, it's just crazy how high he can get. I think once he learns how to play the game of basketball, especially on the defensive end, because that's where they really need him, defense, rebounding, I think he can help them in the Big Ten season. And quite frankly, he's going to have to, especially if Blaise Keita is not going to be available this year. I really think it hurts Nebraska not having Keita available. There were games last year we would get 10 points on 5 dunks and 11 rebounds.
Yeah.
And he could guard the bigger guys in this league. I mean, there's no answer for Zach Edey, no matter who you put on him. But Blaise Keita at least could guard him to some measure.
Yeah, if Keita was healthy, I think you'd see Keita and Jop actually play quite a bit against Purdue and Zach Edey.
Yeah.
So I think we got to get out of here.
We got to leave. It was fun. Do you have a get off my lawn or anything this week?
To the Ohio State fan base, what the hell is your problem, man? It's a kid that is choosing to go somewhere else, and obviously wasn't happy with you, Ohio State fan. So not only can they get off my lawn, they can bite me.
I'll go with that. They can bite me. it's just fun to say bite me anyway. Get off my lawn, Ohio State. It is funny that you can go 11-1 and you get that kind of criticism. But if they get Cam Ward, they're not worried about losing Kyle McCord for sure.
Yeah.
I hope Nebraska gets him. The word is that he will be visiting with Julian Fleming tomorrow, as soon as tomorrow.
Yep.
Nebraska gets him. The optimism will rise drastically. We're leaving. We'll be back next week. Nebraska, Michigan State still going on. We'll watch the end of it and the postgame show to follow. Bye-bye.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who